The Asian Avengers. So weak.
The Asian Avengers. So weak. So fuckable, bro. You know? Whoa. There's 5 Asian guys together. Wow.
Together. Did you ever go through a stealing phase?
Do I think everyone should have a gun? Maybe.
You can look me up. I don't care. I'll fight you. I don't care.
You want to get high as fuck? You like opium?
And welcome back to another episode of AsianNotAsian Podcast, the podcast where 2 Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American cares about. I am your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm Mike Nguyen.
Today is August 1st. Summer's almost over, guys. If you're listening to this on your phones right now, please take a screenshot and post it on Instagram. Tag us at on Instagram stories and tag us at AsianNotAsianPod. And if you're an iTunes listener, please leave a review. Mike, I don't know if you saw this. We got a hilarious bad review the other day that I want to...
It wasn't a bad review. It was just a. It was just like a what, did that person leave us 3 stars or something?
Yes, but here's the thing. Here's what I need to. Asians love directions, right? This is where I went wrong. I didn't give specific instructions. When I say, "Hey guys, leave a review," I'm not talking. Don't give us an honest assessment of the review, okay? I'm asking you to leave us a 5-star review. This is not a. I'm not asking you to put any thought into it. Just give us a goddamn 5. You can give us a 5-star review and then tell us what you think in the comments if you want. But this guy, he's Vietnamese. His last name is Tran, so this is your fault, Mike.
Yep.
Okay, this guy wrote, this is actually kind of funny. He wrote, "It's a great podcast to pass the time." Not even grammatically correct, I don't think. But every time Fumi fake laughs really loud into the mic, I just want to eat myself off a bridge because I cringe too hard. Now, I had to look up what this meant because I thought yeet was like a sound you make to mean like cool or something. I didn't know, like, he used it as like a verb here, and I looked it up on Urban Dictionary, and apparently it means to like throw yourself off, like it means to jump off or something like that.
Huh.
So
I didn't know that.
Also, I'm not fake laughing. This is my real laugh. Also, if me laughing is like 80% of the podcast, so I don't know how this man is still alive. He should be dead right now, I'm not really sure. But anyways, that if you guys are gonna leave a review, please leave 5 stars. Don't put a lot of thought into it. Just 5 stars.
Yeah. Just for people to know, there is no Fumi fake laugh. Well, I've been to many open mics with Fumi, and I can tell when he's fake laughing. His fake laugh is ha ha ha. Okay. That's real. That's a real laugh. His really high pitched laugh. That's a real laugh.
Yeah.
His fake laugh is he, first of all, he's on his phone looking down, and it's ha 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 ha. Hey, that's his fake. That's a fake laugh. We all have it. All comedians have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think leave a good review. Try not to think for yourselves. Yes, that's the whole point.
That's the whole
of the show. Yeah, man, it's cool. Speaking of podcasts with good reviews, though, I listened to Michelle Obama's podcast. It's a new one. It's on Spotify. We're not associated with it. I'm just bringing it up. And have you listened to it before me, right? You listened to it?
I just listened to like 10 minutes of it, and the whole time I was like, man, I can't believe Michelle and Obama and I have the same job. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's we're basically the same person, Also, I also call her Michelle, by her first name. We're that tight. It's
first name basis.
It's crazy. Like, it's a good podcast. And just before we get into too much of it, like, it's just nice to hear, like, full sentences being said by a president. It's like really, it's crazy. He's like, whether or not you like him, I get it if you don't like him because you're a racist or whatever, you think that he's Muslim, okay? You got to admit, even if you think he's not a good president, you can't ignore the fact that he is speaking in full set. It's crazy. Like, grammatically, best president, grammatically speaking. Just, it's amazing. So it's a really good podcast. Check it out after leaving a great review for us. But the first episode, they talk about community, right? Mm-hmm. This is kind of like this large, big theme about.
Her first guest was her husband, right? It's not.
Her first guest was.
It's not
Barack
always.
Obama.
It's not always them two. It's Michelle Obama's podcast.
Right. So it's Michelle Obama's podcast, and the first episode is about community, and so they talk about that, and Michelle Obama talks about like growing up in Chicago and what community was for them, and the fact that like there's this one part that really kind of stuck with me, which was like when she was growing up, she said that like it was kind of like a village raised the kids. Like everybody looked after everybody's kids. Some people could stay home and watch watch everybody's kids, and some parents had to work because they were single parents or because they just couldn't figure out a babysitting situation or whatever. But like they talk about this community, and it seems really tight knit. There's like this neighborhood, everybody knows each other, and that got me like thinking about community because, for us as like, I don't know, Asian Americans, and then as also comedians and also just myself, like the idea of community, like I don't know if I belong. I never know if I really belong to one, and I'm not ever really sure how to say like what, like what community you're part of or whatever. I don't know. I feel like I was part of a community in California, like weirdly enough, even when I lived in Oakland, like
this is in college.
This is in college, but also this is after college. Like I felt like I kind of belonged more in Oakland, maybe because I was young and stupid, but I felt like, I kind of feel like there's other people like me here of all different races, and I felt like I could identify with that place, Whereas now I've moved around a bunch of times. I've moved like from place to place inside of New York, right? Like from one neighborhood to another. And I don't know, I don't know I know one of my neighbors, right? And I don't really know the other people, I don't really feel like I belong here. I don't know if I'm allowed to belong here, if that makes sense. So much of New York is like people just turning over constantly. So I don't know if like I should get to know people. It's a weird feeling. I don't know if you feel the same way,
Yeah, I think when I was growing up in Ohio, there was definitely a community. It wasn't like race-based. It was just more like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know how you and I are, I think maybe you and I are defining community differently. Like my definition of community is more closer to Michelle Obama's definition, which is like, I feel comfortable going next door and asking for a cup of sugar or whatever. I would never do that because I don't cook, but like you're right. In New York, I've lived in, in my last building, I was there for 4 years. I didn't know my neighbors' names, and
right.
If she ever asked me to watch her kid, that would be like, I think I would say no, it was just, that's not like a thing that you really do in New York, but it's interesting because, you watch like, what's that musical? In the Heights. You watch Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. And still to this day, when I walk out, because we both live in Brooklyn as gentrifiers. What's good? We walk outside with our expensive clothes and our shoes, and I do see people. There are these communities where like I was born in Brooklyn. We hang out on the block. Maybe not all of us work, but like we go to this deli. We're always hanging out on the stoop. Everybody knows each other. I'm watching his kids. Like I think that still definitely exists in New York, but as transplants, I don't know that we ever will have access to something like that because, to your point, a lot of us will just end up moving from that space in a year or two because that's just what New Yorkers do. Like transplant New Yorkers, they just move every 1 or 2 years, whereas these guys are probably there for a lifetime. They might inherit their parents' houses or whatever. So it's kind of imagine like I always imagine as if like if for some reason the community I grew up in, Hilliard, Ohio. If I was a lifer there, and I'm just picturing like a bunch of young people moving in and moving out, like they're never gonna be invited to like the barbecue in the cul-de-sac. No, they're not gonna be playing, street hockey with us because that's like I've invested in this community, right? It's all investment. So I think people like you and me, we don't invest in the environment, in the community, right?
Okay.
So therefore we don't get to reap the benefits. So you don't get invited to that cool block party because you don't shop at the mom and pop grocery store. You order from fucking TaskRabbit or whatever. What is it that service you use? I forget what it was.
Yeah, Instacart. Yeah.
So if you're gonna use
my community, Instacart is my community.
Yeah, Instacart is your community. So that's what I think it is. It's like it's not that they don't want you there. Just like okay, if you want to be a part of this, if you want to be invited to my party, if you want to watch my kids, you can't use Instacart. That's kind of how I see it.
That's a good point. This is like a weird thing, and maybe I used to have this fantasy just because I never had to follow through with it. But I always thought that if I stayed in Oakland, if I stayed in the Bay Area, I would eventually run for office. That I swear to God, I always thought. I loved Oakland so much. I wanted to make it better. I was like, I want to make this place better, and I would run for office, like or something. Not like mayor,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like I would like get involved in the school. I'm trying to I'm gonna make this place a better place. But I feel like in New York, it's like. It's such a shitty, like comedians, we always like talk about how shitty New York is, and like it is shitty, but like I feel like it's like too big of a problem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like I can help maybe make a small neighborhood a little bit less, trafficky in Oakland, and that's achievable. But in New York, it's like, oh shit, like you're dealing with like all these communities and personalities, and like I wouldn't be able to like change any of that shit. I'm just one who's gonna listen to like an old Vietnamese guy who just moved here. Like why would you do that? Like I can never run for office here. Like it wouldn't make any sense, but I felt like I could make a difference somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. So now I'm just like, now my community is like, I guess the closest I felt so far was we've talked about this, is when I was on when we had the Asian Comedy Festival. Mm-hmm. And we were that was like in December or something, and there was all these Asian comics of all different levels. Some people were just new and some people were more established, and like Ryan Chang was there and all these our buddies and stuff like that. And I was at the bar, and I felt like, oh, this is kind of a community right here, right? Yeah. Like Asian, dorks, like comedy dorks. Like, is that the only way I could think about it? And that's like as close to that happening. It never struck me that I was like, oh, this is like my community.
Did you like that feeling though?
I did, and it made me uncomfortable. I'll be honest with you.
But this is why
it made me uncomfortable.
Okay, I remember what you're talking about, because you and I were in the back like cool senpais, and we're looking at all the younger Asian comics on stage, like, they're pretty good, And
he needs to work. He needs to work harder.
But you know why we felt like, because we felt part of the community? It's because we invested. Okay, we invested. We put on shows. We book those comedians. We have them on a podcast. We invest, so they give back to us. So I think that's kind of what it is. And to be honest, I mean, I think younger Asian comedians, they look at you as the mayor of Asian comedy.
The mayor. Mayor. I'm not really the mayor. I'm at best like school superintendent of like District 5 of one of these
District
things,
5 open mic.
District 5 open mic. We're bleeding money like crazy. I'm skipping off the top. I don't know about you, but that's what I feel like I'm doing. I also think like I can never go back to, like, I never, I guess when I was in Orange County, like in Southern California, there's a huge Vietnamese community there. And I see now that, I'm married, like I see why my parents moved to that place. They wanted to be somewhere where like other people who are kind of like them, and they can like rely on each other. And like generally my family relies just on ourselves. Like that's our community. But I see why they did that. And I feel like, oh, I could see why we should go back to Southern California. Hey, everybody's going to have my last name. Yay, we all got weird tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're a little bit problematic. All right, like Vietnamese people. Hey, that's our community. Like we have that's like how we roll.
Yes.
So
speaking of problematic Vietnamese people.
Well, hold on here. Before I do that, I always think, is there a place I could go to that could be like that? And I think that's again, like that's sort of what I wanted to talk about. Like this episode is like, what is community? Where is it? Where are we going with it? Can we belong anywhere? That sort of thing. So I think, speaking of problematic Asians, I don't know what kind of intro that is. Our guest today, who we wanted to talk to about community, is a writer. She has an awesome email newsletter called Jen Yeet. She's a reporter, a great person, and old enough to be our daughter. Okay, at this point, right, Fumi? I would think
well, we did the math. Old enough to be your daughter, not me, because I would have been 10 when she was born, and I was not fucking when I was 10. Unfortunately.
I was. So, no. Okay, give it up, everybody, right now for Terry Nguyen. Woo!
Yay!
For having me.
How's it going?
That's weird that I could be your daughter.
You could be.
Well.
You could
it's
be.
weird that I could be your though.
Wait, how old are you again? Oh no, wait. I know.
22.
Okay, you're okay saying it. Okay. How old would I'd have to. Let's just say I would have to have gotten an early start. Okay. Let's just say that. But it's possible.
It's possible, man. You Vietnamese people are crazy out there in the West Coast. Always fucking.
We be fucking.
Yes, we be fucking.
That's another thing I wanted to talk about, which was like the way I feel now. If you have a community, it does have to be kind of a secret. Do you know what I'm saying? Like right now, I have a secret community in that I meet up with my BJJ friend, my jiu-jitsu friend, and we do jiu-jitsu in the park. And there's no way to do jiu-jitsu socially distanced. So like we're like in a monogamous relationship with each other right now, but it is very hush-hush.
Oh, wait. You smell each other. Wait, do you smell each other's gi? Who are you fighting?
Yeah.
Who are you fighting last
Who's
night?
this? Whose blood is on your collar? My God. I thought we meant something to each other. And then the other day, he actually he texted me and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'm also going to train with this other guy, Brian. Is that cool?" I'm like, "Oh, you want to bring a third in?"
Yo, but that's
how dare you?
That's true though, man. I mean,
but like that's like a whole thing. Like there's like a jujitsu like underground speakeasy community because no one can that's the way we can do things. And I feel like, is that the way? Like I don't know. Like I feel like I'm always like curious about how are we going to manage this going into the future. You know what I'm saying?
Personally, I have like my own cluster of people that I've seen since like May. Like we all assumed we were fine, and like luckily we all are fine. But I did go to like a 4th of July barbecue, and there was like my friend brought her boyfriend, and so I'm just like, now great, we're like in a fucking like six or whatever, so we all like share the same germs and we're breathing like in the air together. So yeah, I call it a cluster. I guess it's like a relationship, but like
I also wanted to ask you because you're like a resident reporter, but you're also our resident young person, being my daughter and everything. So do you feel like, is there like a feeling with young people that it's like, you know, because I've seen, you know, like college students, they can't go to college, and you know you can't hold classes. And I know that like when I moved to New York City, you know, like I wanted it to be a certain way. I wanted to be able to go out. Do you feel like with your cohort, you know, like, oh, is it still like worth living in the city and paying this rent and like everything being super shitty if you can't even do all the cool New York stuff, you know?
Yeah, actually really early on, I was kind of adamant to stay here because I have like 2 really good friends who are really adamant on staying here. There was like this meme from like Arrested Development that was like, I'd rather like die in like blank. And we did a meme. It was like, I'd rather die in Brooklyn than go back to like, I don't know, California or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really do feel like I want to like bear this out. And I know people are like, oh, New York is not going to be the same. I truly feel like people will come back here. It might be different people. We might be in a bad period of place because like unemployment and like a lot of like social issues are going to be exacerbated. But I really don't see it dying. And I'm just very certain about that. Like I really want everyone who left to feel like they regret that.
Yeah.
It might be a petty thing.
I could see that. I could see where, like, I feel like I wish that sometimes New York City gave out little merit badges of like the things that you live through. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like I've lived through the army.
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I lived through Hurricane Sandy. You know, I went through, you know, the 2009 economic downturn. You know, and this is like the COVID-19 patch or.
Yeah, we should get like a little purple heart. Yeah,
you got a little.
You're like a senior citizen. You're like.
Hey, thanks for coming over, Kelly.
Oh wow, Fumi, this is so nice that you have me over.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday night, so I thought we could maybe get together and do stuff. So
oh yes,
this is let's go into my room. I have a really big apartment.
This apartment is so big. I wouldn't have imagined it to be so big at all.
Yeah, I'm a pretty successful podcast. You should check it out.
I've heard. Yeah, so nice. Oh, we're still walking so far.
Okay, check it out.
Whoa.
Now this is where the magic happens.
Ooh, never heard that joke before. So fresh. You're so funny.
Now, are you ready to get down and do the dirty on this bed? What do you think about this bed?
I've never seen a bed like this. It looks so nice and supportive.
Yeah.
Oh my
we can do
gosh.
all the positions on this bed.
Oh my gosh, including missionary?
Including missionary, Fumi's favorite and only option.
What kind of... Where did you get this mattress from?
This mattress is called Helix Sleep Mattress. Helix Sleep has a quiz that just takes 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you.
Whether you're a side sleeper, hot sleeper, like a plush or firm bed with Helix, there's no more confusion and no more compromising on an average mattress.
Helix Sleep was even awarded the #1 bed overall mattress pick of 2019 by GQ and Wired magazine.
Just go to helixsleep.com/Asian. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you up to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life.
They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights free, risk-free, unlike what we're about to do right now, Kelly. Wink, wink.
Helix is offering up to $125 off all mattress orders for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Asian.
That's Helix, HELIX, sleep.com/Asian for up to $125 off.
Oh, you got a condom? Right now, you're actually not in New York. You're out at like a creative retreat. Is this like something that's like a pretty typical thing? Because I know if I had gotten all of my young people friends when I was young together in a house, we would just be drinking Natty Ice the whole time, you know? And yet you're out doing you're like improving your life and like making yourself better. That disgusts me, and please tell me more about it.
I honestly think it's a very millennial thing because I'm like doing this thing with a lot of other millennials, but we just...
Oh, really?
I feel like, yeah, creative writing retreats are like actually pretty common, but people, it's a very nerdy thing, by the way. It's just you go here and you just kind of sit around and like type on your keyboard.
What? And you're not like, you're not
best,
high or anything like that? You're just working?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sober, and I guess I have like a glass of wine.
I don't understand. What is a writer's retreat? You just go with other writers. You like bounce ideas off each other, or is it just more? Is it like extending? You know, when you go to a coffee shop to write, and then you're actually kind of productive because people are watching. Is it like that, but a week long?
Yeah, no, we're just in like a place together. I guess you can talk to others or have people look at your work, but for the most part, it's like a very solitary activity. But I mean, I definitely think it is like social pressure when you're around other people who are like typing aggressively. They're like, oh shit, everyone wants to come out with like a short story written, right? And so you kind of have to push yourself to be like, oh, even if this kind of sucks, I still need some form of like a story to come out of this. So I guess it's kind of like, oh, if I invested so much time away from like my home, I should be able to do the work that I came to do.
How is it going so far? I mean, first of all, thank you very much for taking a whole hour and some change.
You're like paying
to
for
break this. Yeah, you really are.
You're losing money.
No.
Is this giving you anxiety? All your friends are getting ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, this is like me procrastinating because truthfully, I love procrastinating, and I feel like if I wanted to, I'm a very efficient writer, but sometimes I just like, to scroll on YouTube and watch dumb videos for like 3 hours before getting started on my work.
That's fantastic. What story do you got going on? Pitch us an idea. We'll tell you if it's good.
Oh no, I don't want to tell you my ideas.
What? Really? Come on.
That could be bad luck. That could be bad luck.
Is it?
Like what if? Yeah. Possibly. I don't know.
I feel that's a very Vietnamese answer. No. It'll be bad luck.
That's so funny. I was actually told in like comedy that you should always be pitching your ideas because you'll get better at figuring out what it is. Like even if it's bad, like you should always pitch your friends your ideas because if they're like, what the fuck, then it means you're doing a bad job, so you should just improve. So go ahead. The floor is yours.
Go.
Oh my god. Because I do feel like when you're writing a story, it is well, anyways, okay, let me just tell you like this one piece I've been working on for a while, but it's about Mike, have you ever been to the Asian Garden Mall in Orange County?
You mean Phuc Luc Thọ? Yeah.
Yes, Phuc Luc Thọ. So I'm writing a story about a woman who is like the only worker in a store and her relationship with her son, who she brings to work. It's like a very mundane topic, but it's intended to be like around like 3,000 words long.
Mike pitched the exact same thing like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh my god!
Wait.
That you know why? It's because that world, people don't know what we're talking about, Terry, because it is such an interesting place. Phuc Luc Thọ, the Asian Garden Mall, is like such an interesting, little like microcosm. It's a Vietnamese mall of which like most of the stores are jewelry stores, and then there's like a bunch of random like. There's a store that sells anime trinkets, and then there's like a Vietnamese sandwich shop, and then there's like more jewelry stores, and then there's like a place that sells suits for $50. You know what I'm saying? It's such a weird like place, and I've never. I mean, I don't know if you would agree. Like, I've never seen it portrayed in media in a way that really feels like, oh, this is real. You know, the closest I can see it is like sometimes someone will show something from K-Town, and I'm like, that's kind of like an LA K-Town vibe, but it's not the Vietnamese vibe. You know what I'm talking about?
No, totally. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people imagine this place to be like Chinatown or whatever, but it's a very specific location.
Yes.
And I feel like it's a great place for a store. I mean, like, so much shit must happen there. I mean, there's like a food court, and there's like so many people fucking selling jewelry. And I don't know, there's like 3 huge statues of like Asian men in front with like a water fountain. And there's like Chinese script as well. And I feel like if you're not from there, it's like a completely foreign thing. But it's, I don't know, it's like home. I miss home. So I'm writing things related to my community and home.
Okay, so I since I did pitch this idea, I technically own this, so you'll have to move on to another thing. But I do think it's a great.
This is gonna be like Call Her Daddy with the IP rights.
Oh, nice!
Except it's about a Vietnamese mall.
You wrote a piece recently, and you were kind of like talking about how the Vietnamese community is sort of reacting to Black Lives Matter. I didn't get to read it, but like, you know, what did you sort of like write about?
You should read my work, Mike.
Damn it!
I need the clicks.
We did zero research for this.
But I pretty much wrote about how like immigrant communities, like specifically focusing on the Viet community, there is, I feel like in discussion about politics in America, there's often like this overwhelming focus on like, oh, people of color tend to vote liberal, which is false because there are so many different like other factors besides race, including like class or like where you're from. And it's interesting because I truly feel like the Viet community can be so crazily racist.
Oh yeah.
Like I've kind of started lurking on Facebook more, which is bad for my brain or whatnot.
No, don't do that.
I see people posting legit hate speech in Vietnamese.
Wow.
Like they would share like all these like Fox News likes, like Breitbart News, like videos on these like private groups and would say really racist stuff in Vietnamese. And I swear to God, if this was like a group of like white people, they would be exposed by like BuzzFeed by now or something like that. But just because they're like Vietnamese, they fall under the radar and are saying whatever they want to say and like perpetuating like fake news.
Are these like your extended family? Is it your friends, or like, you know, because I kind of encounter the same thing when I talk to my Vietnamese friends. You know, when I call them or something like that, they're not. I wouldn't say they're all the way to like the hate speech, but like they don't understand Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? They go, well, why should we do this? Like, you know, I'm still struggling to do whatever this and that. Why should I support these, you know, this other group of people? You know, like are you encountering that how are you encountering that in your like sort of circle, you know?
I think I like sought it out, which was really bad because I wanted to be like honest about like, I know there's a lot of young people like our age, like your guys' age too, like being like, oh, Asians for Black Lives, like sharing very progressive things on their social media and being like, you need to like re-educate your family and whatnot. But it's really difficult coming from a place where I think for them, for like refugees and immigrants, I'm not excusing that of course, but they care so much about economic status. And for them, I think the logic just doesn't hold. But you also have to realize that, you know, where we are or like where certain, you know, East Asians, for example, like a lot of Chinese, Japanese, Korean people are very, very wealthy. They, like a lot of people are self-made, but, you know, I just feel like, I don't know. I was on this group because I just wanted to see how like normal people think, normal people my parents' age. Just what I discovered was honestly really shocking because not everyone thinks this way, but kind of the most radical people are as nasty as like white people, supporters, etc.
Whoa, oh man, you know what? I think you should write that into your short story. Okay, you know, huh? A little bit of. I
should write about my Trump supporting uncle and like how he.
That'd be a funny sitcom.
That would be a very funny sitcom. My racist uncle and I go get a Vietnamese sandwich. That's a good one, So I am real excited about this next product because it is perfect for anal. I'm talking about Asian, not Asian listeners, but also I'm talking about the actual butthole.
Yes.
Okay. It's hard to believe that when we go to the bathroom in this country, most of us wipe instead of wash.
Gross. For years, bidets have been available, but hideously expensive, costing thousands of dollars. Really? That's crazy.
What? That's so crazy. The Hello Tushy modern bidet attachment is here to democratize the blessings bestowed by bidets and offer clean buttholes to everyone.
Hello Tushy cleans your butt with a precise stream of fresh water. It sounds like an Evian ad for just $79.
Wow, it attaches to your existing toilet, requires no electricity or additional plumbing, and cuts toilet paper use by 80%.
Wow.
So the Hello Tushy bidet pays for itself in a few months.
Because with Hello Tushy, you don't wipe at all. Even the best 2-ply just can't cut it when it comes to the hands-free poop experience.
Yo, ditch paper products and uncomfortable chafing when you switch to the soothing, cleansing stream of water from a Hello Tushy bidet attachment.
And every Hello Tushy bidet attachment comes with a 60-day risk-free, risk-free, what kind of risk are we talking about? Risk-free guarantee and a 12-month warranty.
Join millions of happy Hello Tushy customers right now and have a clean butt with every flush.
Go to hellotushy.com/ANA to get 10% off.
This is a special offer for our listeners. Go to hellotushy.com/ANA for 10% off.
hellotushy.com/ANA. Now we're gonna do everybody's favorite segment. It is Das Race News. This one's been, this one's been in the news, and I think it would have got more attention had it not been for like everything that's happening right now. But this was kind of cute and funny. Always love a racist article here. Trader Joe's responds to criticism over branding. They say we disagree that any of these labels are racist. So what happened is early in July, an online petition began circulating which called out Trader Joe's racist-related food labels, including Trader Jose for Mexican products, Arabian Joe for Middle Eastern products, stating that the branding is racist because it exoticizes other cultures. And then they wrote back saying, no, it's not racist, and we don't make decisions based on petitions, bitch. They didn't say bitch, but I added it there. And I looked this up on Wikipedia. I know we all shop at Trader Joe's, okay? I see it in your eyes. But I always thought it was kind of cute, but I didn't know that they had so many. So here's some more. So Trader Jose's for Mexican food. They have Trader Ming's for Chinese
Trader
food.
Ming's, yep.
Baker Joseph with an F for bagels. Trader Giotto's for Italian. This is funny. Trader Joe-san for Japanese food.
Yep.
What else? Trader Jack for French. And Vietnamese. Oh no, sorry. This is vitamins, not Vietnamese. Sorry.
Vietnamese.
I thought it's because it said Trader Darwin's. I was like, how is that Vietnamese?
Trader Hoa is Vietnamese.
Yeah. So they have all these things, and I don't know. I because of the coronavirus and Trump and everything like that, I actually cannot tell if this is like, I don't know if this news is legit, if people are legit upset about this, or if this is just something to get clicks. Like, I personally love Trader Joe's. I've never had a really big issue with it, just because, like, when I read this article, I always think back to like how my black friends are saying right now. My black comedian friends always like, okay, like, you took down Gone with the Wind, cool. And the statues, cool. Okay, what about the police though? Like, they don't give a fuck about the movies, That's whatever. You can still download it on the internet if you want to see Gone with the Wind. You can still Google images of General Lee if you fucking want to. But they're like, these are changes that we didn't ask for, is kind of like their statement. And I kind of thought about that when I was reading through this article. But I don't know. What did you guys think about that?
Personally, I love a lot of the Trader Joe's like Asian food. The frozen stuff is really fucking good.
It is good.
And honestly, it doesn't change. I'm not gonna boycott them. Like, I mean, they really leaned into it for like every culture. I'm surprised they did like whatever for French people too, and like Japanese. It's like very specific. I don't think they're even like. I think, I don't know. It's weird though, because they're like a very like wholesome brand. And, I don't know, like, I wrote an article about how, like, they changed, like, Aunt Jemima label, which was clearly, like, very problematic and on bad tropes, but I don't know. I don't know if this will change anything. Can Trader Joe's, like, be more equitable with their food distribution?
I just, like,
who the fuck knows? Maybe.
If they called it, like, Trader Ming's and there was, like, some Chinese guy who's 90 doing opium, I'd be like, okay, maybe I don't want to see that when I'm eating dumplings. Like, I get that. But they're not calling it Trader Ching Chong. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was, Again, I always struggle with this because I'm not from here, and I feel like Asian Americans are like really sensitive when it comes to stuff like that. You know, they're like, leave us, you know, there's a lot of that voice happening, which is like totally valid and fine. But yeah, I just like, I kind of like it. I felt like when I saw Trader Joe's-san, I feel like getting a shout out, you know? It's kind of nice. I feel seen. I feel seen by these products.
I do think that was their goal by that. I don't know. I do feel like Asian Americans need to focus a little bit less on like, you know, representation politics. Like, did you guys, I know you guys have like race news lined up, but like, did you guys see about the Boba Guys thing?
No, what?
Well,
The Boba Guys controversy?
I just know they went out of business.
Oh shit, this is new race news.
New race news. New character.
New race news from our own. So yeah, okay, hit us up. Go.
So this was like a couple weeks back, but Boba Guys, there was this report released in a San Francisco like Alt Weekly or something that said that Boba Guys was being accused of being like racist to its employees who were basically like Latino or like Black, and like several employees spoke on the record saying that they felt like they were being tokenized and that the Boba Guys was trying to sell to more white people. Like whenever they had like, I don't remember specifically what it was, but they would always try to portray this like all-American girl who was one of their employees to like be on like in certain Instagram posts, and then the owner or something would like say very like strange stuff to like Black employees, like about Black Lives Matter, only wanting to talk about race. And it was like very tokenizing. And then it's really funny because one of the Boba Guys the co-founders like went on Instagram and like posted like an apology or an explanation, and it just seemed so weird and like so corporate and so impersonal, because they were just like, we're liberal, we like abide by these values and we care about these things, but they just didn't treat their employees well and just had all these like weird bureaucratic obstacles for people to become managers as well. It was weird.
I mean, I think that like totally lines up with what I think is sort of the weird thing about this whole Trader Joe's thing. It's like, you know, I get it if you don't like Trader Ming's or Trader Jose's or whatever, but like them changing the name, to your point, Fumi, wouldn't make it wouldn't be like suddenly now there's no more racism. Did you guys see now the dumplings aren't called Trader Ming's, you know, like that doesn't change anything. It's about that deeper sort of structural stuff that, you know, how are you treating your Black employees, how are you treating your POC you know, staff, you know, like how are things being equitable or not equitable, you know, like you know, we keep talking about defund the police, and I feel society's like, well, how about instead of defunding the police, we change the name of the dumplings? That could be tight too, right?
You ever think about that?
Wait a minute. Hold on here. Instead of dismantling our unfair incarceration system, get this, the pancakes have a different color box. What do we think, everybody?
Dude,
you know, like,
that's exactly what's happening.
It's like okay, I get it. You know,
it's so bare minimum. The bar is on the floor. It's like what you said about like a president being able to speak actual sentences. It's just like, no, the bar should not be this low.
Yeah,
but it is.
Yeah.
Well, this segment brought to you by Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's, we love you. Because we're gentrifiers. We love Trader Joe's.
We do love it.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for listening to the show. Terry, thanks for coming on. Where can our listeners find you and read your work and such?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Terry Nguyen, or you can follow me on Instagram, and I'm verified on Instagram, despite having like 1,000
what
followers.
What the fuck? Yo, I fucking applied. I applied and they said no.
Oh, there's we have someone who does it, who like knows someone at Instagram who can do it. But you have to send in like your passport or like an ID or something.
Yeah, I did it through Comedy Central, and they're still like, no, we saw you. They're like, we saw you the other day. You still suck. So I don't know what's going on.
The blue check is powerful, though.
It is powerful.
I think it's funny that because I don't know what the verification thing is, but like what are they saying? Are they saying that you are not Fumi Abe? Like what is the
No. You have to send in like articles people have written about you. You have to be famous, or like famous in the internet world. So like you have to send in a lot of stuff. So I had to send in like a lot of Vulture articles that was written about me, and like I had to send them like screenshots of our podcast being on like the Spotify charts and all that shit. But apparently their excuse was like, oh, it's just really weird right now because of the quarantine or whatever. I'm like, I feel like your business is doing better because of the quarantine. So why don't you stop being racist and put me on there? Anyways, this is not my therapy session, so let's move on with Terry's plugs.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I write for Vox.com, so I don't know if you read an article on the site, maybe it's written by me.
Wow.
And then are you still doing your newsletter as well?
Oh yeah, and you can also read my newsletter at jenyeet.substack.com.
Hell yeah.
So wait, so I've always wanted to ask you, what does yeet mean? Does it mean jump off something? What does it mean?
Yeah, it means like if you're like gonna yeet, like for example, a football. I'm going to yeet a football, or I'm gonna yeet myself off this cliff.
How do you
jump?
How do you jump off a football? What is that? I don't even get that.
No. Like if you yeet a football, you're like
you're
throwing
it.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, yeah, but it can also be used as like yeet, as in I don't know, just like a noun.
I thought it. You know what?
I don't know grammar.
I thought it was the spelling of people when people go like I thought. People do that. I thought it was that. I thought it was like a cool sound. Like people go like, hey. I thought it was just like one of those.
Yeah, I think it's more in like an ironic or a negative tone.
Oh, God.
Or like a celebratory. I don't know.
Ironic
I
celebratory.
Used it.
I have never, ever heard anyone use that word before, and now I have to go hang out at Mood Ring so I can feel like I'm living again. Okay.
What if you go there? That's all you hear.
Yeah. Everyone's just like, hey, yeet me one of those Coors Lights. No problem.
That'll be 300 eats.
Let me yeet it over to you.
Yeet it over. Hey, what's yeet, God? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You can also find us on social media at AsianNotAsianPod. We're on Instagram. I'm also on there at the Fumi Abe. That's TheFUMIABE on all platforms. Check me out on TikTok before that shit goes out of business.
You can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
As always, find us on Patreon at patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod for bonus episodes. And please come to our live or our Zoom comedy show. It's every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. New comedians every week, and it's free. So just go to our website, AsianNotAsianPod.com for free tickets. We might also do a free live event show soon, so definitely follow us on Instagram for more information.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks again to Terry, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.